Here's a list of 27 things cut from Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 1. Mexico. RDR1 was based in the American Southwest on the fictionalized Texan-Mexican border. And in the game, we did get an explorable area of Mexico. However, despite being labeled on the physical map of RDR2, Mexico is a region we cannot explore in vanilla RDR2. I summed it up here on this video, so make sure to check that out. Number 2. Guarma was originally called Guama, and was intended to be smaller and fully explorable. The player was also intended to be able to revisit it in the epilogue. It had many different cut locations such as Le Village, which had a bar and a few shops, with the leftover occlusion model remaining in the files. Number 3. Better John Marston model. The playable John Marston is an unused pre-release model that more closely resembles his NPC counterpart, which included the functionality for his model to lose and gain weight. He would have also worn his NPC hair and used different animations that more closely resemble his appearance in Red Dead Redemption. Number 4. OG Trapper. The Trapper has an entirely different version that was cut in which he would have looked more rugged and older. It's possible that the Trapper that appears in the final game was only supposed to operate in Saint Denis due to his file name. While Ned Luke does voice the character in the final game, he was intended to voice the character with a larger role at some point, but only his mocap for the character remains, and this is his character.
Hey, I'd keep moving if I was you. What did I tell you? Get the hell out of here!
Hey, calm down. Maybe you can help us. It ain't like this is going well.
Shit. Nothing to lose, I suppose. Come on. The truth is, mister, our last batch of shine didn't turn out so good. You think you can help us with locating some ingredients? We could reward you for your troubles.
Number 6. Promotional art for the game features various gang members in outfits that are either discolored or that they are never seen wearing. Number 7. Obesity. Obese men and women were originally intended to spawn around the map, as evidenced by the large amount of finished models. Number 8. Frank Heck was intended to have a mission in the Noblest of Men and a Woman, where he would have been encountered playing a game of cards in the Tumbleweed Saloon. The player needed to have a certain amount of money, and they needed to be dressed in a specific clothing in order for the guard to let them into the room. The player would request for Frank Heck to pose for a photo, to which he would agree. Afterwards, the player would have participated in a game of cards with him. At some point, the player would have insulted Frank Heck, which would result in him flipping the table over and drawing his irons. It was possible to disarm one of his guns, which would result in him attempting to shoot the player with the other. Only a mission photo, music, some animations, the photo Theater 11 would have given Arthur a Frank Heck, which can still be partially seen in the first mission, and Frank Heck's model will remain in the files. Arthur has a far more intimidating line cut from interrogating the O'Driscoll in Outlaws from the West.
Right now, before I smash your head in that wall.
Tell me exactly where, or I'll...
Number 10. There was meant to be a gang hideout in Roanoke Ridge, where the current Van Horn trading post is now located, called Tehillah Jetty. It's possible that the Tehillah Jetty gang would have inhabited it, and it's also possible Van Horn itself was originally meant to be named Tehillah Jetty because in RDR1, the serendipity was described to come from Tehillah Jetty, and the link map for RDR2, the area where Van Horn is meant to possess is marked as Tehillah Jetty. Number 11. Siska Penitentiary was located much farther away from the Lemoyne mainland in earlier versions of the game. Number 12. Fort Wallace was known as Old Fort Wallace, and it was located in the Grizzlies East in earlier stages of development. At one point, it also served as a spot in which bounty posters could be acquired and had a shop. It was located higher up on the mountain range than in the final game, and the mountain it was supposed to appear on had a completely different shape during the beta, and a glitch occurs when hovering over its beta location on the map will show the player as being wanted dead or alive in that area. Number 13. Saint Denis was further below its current location and was originally named near Bordeaux. However, the name would be used in Mafia 3, another game by Rockstar Games' parent company Take-Two Interactive. Some documents and audio clips to refer to it as New Bordeaux in the final game. Despite being able to be found in Guarma, if the player makes a run towards the spawn points, the green sea turtle was mostly cut from the game and could only be studied and drawn into the player's journal, but not added to their compendium. There was also a cut functionality to skin the turtle. Due to the green sea turtle not being added to the compendium, there exists unused compendium images related to that in the files. Number 15. Sharks were supposed to be encountered in Guarma and included in the compendium. There are two types, the hammerhead and the tiger shark. Tiger sharks come in silver, matte, and orange varieties. Hammerhead sharks have two varieties, with one having a bit of a brown detailing. They will still spawn in Guarma, but only if the player returns to or enters Guarma early through the use of a mod or exploit. A cut random encounter involving a shark attack can also be found within the game's code. Number 16. Baylock's original texture looked nearly identical to that of the Dark Horse in RDR1, minus the scarring. Various details were changed, including the number of socks, eye coloring, and facial marking, all of which was possibly done in an attempt to distance him from the Dark Horse. There exists remnants of a living version of the Dead Horse model that appears in multiple locations across the map, including an out-of-bounds avalanche near the panoramic map, and as John's horse during Enter pursued by memory. Animations also exist for this horse. Number 18. Molly O'Shea was originally going to be buried in an unmarked grave in a relatively close proximity to Beaver Hollow, instead of her body being burnt. The texture of the grave, location, coordinates, and model exist in the game files and can be spawned with mods. There was originally going to be a rifle holster the player could wear, similar to the first game. Number 20. John O'Crate was originally intended to voice Uncle before his passing. Some lines belonging to him remain in the game. Furthermore, all voice lines of Uncle singing are O'Crate's performance, and to pay tribute, Rockstar named a lake in the Grizzlies East O'Crate's Run. Number 21. The High Roller Revolver was originally meant to be Frank Heck's weapon, and as we know, he dual-wielded them. And originally, we're going to be able to do the same, despite the compendium stating that the High Roller Revolver is deadly when dual-wielded, only one can be purchased. This being even more clear-cut evidence that this was Frank Heck's weapon. The player was originally meant to be able to pay $100 to board a ferry, which would have taken them to locations such as Blackwater, Saint Denis, and Guarma. John was also able to go to Guarma in the epilogue in this way. Number 23. A pirate skeleton was cut from the game, in which it seems Arthur could have obtained the jacket and hat from Guarma. There also exists a cut pirate skeleton key, which may have been related to this. Number 24. Originally, you were meant to be able to borrow character horses, and dialogue for it still exists in the game. Take a look.
I'm taking Bill's horse. Yep. I'm taking Brown Jack for a ride. Yep. Tell Charles I've taken his horse.
First weapons such as the elephant rifle were originally intended for story mode, but were instead reused for Reddit Online. 26. Yellings were intended to be in the game, as evidenced by text relating to them in the files. Number 27. El Capo's favorite RDR2 character, a surprise, surprise, Arthur. Thank you boys for watching, have a good one, and I'll catch you later. But until next time, St. Doomers, that's Doomsday, signing out.